Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the NEMSIS V3 implementation call. Today is June 28th, 2023. If you have not already done so, please update your name with your affiliation in the participation list. These meetings are recorded and shared on the NEMSIS website and the YouTube channel. Please feel free to share this information with your team or review it as needed. We encourage your participation. You are welcome to come off mute or to use the chat feature. We will review the chat at the end of the call during our debrief, and we will follow up with any answers that need to be provided back to the community. We're going to go ahead and get started. You should be able to see the agenda here on my screen. And we're going to go ahead and allow Jen Correa to come off mute and provide the stakeholder introductions. Jen, we can't hear you.
I have to do it once a week and I hadn't done it yet. So that's this week's. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. And it is my privilege to do the stakeholder introduction today. So anyone's welcome to guess, put it in the chat below. Let us know who you think it is. And they were asked to answer just a few questions to give you a few clues. To relax and unwind, this person loves to go hiking and explore new places. National forests are a favorite place to visit and find those out-of-the-way beautiful spots in nature. Take some beautiful pictures. An interesting fact about this person that I got to learn as well is that they love to paint. And not paint by numbers, but actually paint abstracts and impressionism and create works of art. When asked what this person likes about being involved in EMS data and their job and their position, the answer came as no surprise when I read it. Helping people find what they are looking for and creating resources that broaden the knowledge around EMS data and inform anyone and everyone. This person is very, very personable, and most everybody interacts with them. So are there any guesses? I see one in the chat, Josh Legler, no. And Josh guessed Monet, and you would be correct. It is our very own Monet Iheanacho. So there are some beautiful pictures of her out hiking, her with some of our EMS stakeholders. And I know, at least for me, it has been an absolute privilege to work with Monet for all these years. She's fantastic. Monet, did you want to say anything?
No, but thank you so much. You cracked me up. I have a tendency to travel and look for the fire stations to say hello to the medics and to thank them for their work. And then to chat it up a little bit about NEMSIS, see how much they know, if they're familiar. So thank you so much for sharing.
And Monet, Anne wrote in the chat, can we see some art at the annual meeting?
There'll be plenty of art in the Park City area. Thank you, Anne. I'll consider it. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Monet, and thanks for letting us share the pictures. I love the pictures you have of your hiking trips and where you go. Lori did also ask me to share a big shout out to Iowa for turning green. I love seeing all the green on the map. It's pretty great. And I know there's lots of states that are working on the process to turn green as well. So the next item that I have that I was asked to just chat about is that the closing of version 3.4.0 and the date, as everyone knows, 12/31/2023 or 1/1/2024, depending on how you like to term it. But the end of this year is the end of version 3.4.0 NEMSIS standard. And starting on January 1st, the NEMSIS National Data Repository will only be taking version 3.50. I know lots of folks talk about it. We just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that there are no plans to do an extension for version 3.40, none at all. So did anyone have any questions or need us to take anything back to the team for discussion?
This is Karen.
Hi,
So-
Karen.
Hi, everybody. Hey, and I am coming to the annual meeting. So anybody who has said it's been 5+ years since we've seen Karen, you're going to have to see me. In any case, just verification. So the last unit notified by date time will be 12/31/2023. So how long will people be able to send those records?
I do not have that date yet from Clay. So what I will do is I will take that back and we'll get that official date. I know usually with the research data set, it runs somewhere in February, but we'll get that confirmed and we'll get it out to everybody. That's a great question. And thank you, Karen. And I always like to say, if you have the question, please ask it, because you are probably not the only one with the question. So if there are any questions, get them out there. Anne says, wondering if any state that you know is waiting until January 1st as their deadline for their stakeholder agencies transition to version 3.5 in their state. There are a few states that on the NEMSIS website do have 12/31 or January 1 listed as their end date. But I don't know state to state about deadlines for their stakeholder agencies. Does anyone else on the tech team have any info on that?
I know there are a few. I don't know off the top of my head which states are, but there's a few that have set that as the deadline.
Okay. Mark Gruber at Intelitech says Ohio has set that as their deadline. Thanks, Mark. So the next item on the agenda is the compliance policy, and a new compliance policy did come out effective June 1st. And there were a couple of questions after it went out because there was no summary about the changes within the document itself. So of course, the compliance policy can be found on the technical resources compliance page. And it's right here. So really, there was no content changes as far as maintenance policy or the sunsetting policy or anything like that. What it was we wanted to better delineate between when the policy affects the software itself versus the vendor who may have multiple softwares, collect and send, receive and process, multiple product names that are out there. So we wanted to be much more explicit about when the policy applies to the vendor as a whole and when the policy applies to the software product itself. So a good example of that would be every software must maintain compliance, regardless of how many softwares are under one vendor umbrella. But on the flip side, the required attendance at the annual meeting applies to the vendor, regardless of how many softwares they have under their umbrella. So that was really the purpose of this update here on June 1st. That's why there's no additional information about what the update contained. Did anyone have any questions about the compliance policy? All right, I love when there's no questions. That means I explained it pretty well. Okay, so in May on the last version or the last V3 implementation call, there was a request about exporting the data or the information contained in the JIRA tickets for the change requests and how to do that. So these will be put onto the NEMSIS website. just to give you actually an idea of where that is going to be. It is going to be under the V35 revisions. And this is going to go under when will changes take place. There's going to be another document later that will also be put here as well. So we'll talk about that shortly. So all of the JIRA tickets are contained here in the NEMSIS public JIRA, where every change, every request that comes in gets a ticket, right? So all of these, and some folks would like to see that in Excel or some other format. And here are some directions, and I'm happy to send it out to anyone who would like it before it gets posted next week. You go to the page. It's very easy if you only want it in Word or PDF. You can export directly from these three buttons up here, right? So if you just want this in Word or PDF, but it's not as usable, I will tell you, I don't find it as usable. So because it literally just lists them like this. And it doesn't give you the information that you're going to want as you look through. So to export to CSV, you can do the all or the current fields or HTML, that kind of thing. You go in and you actually will select a specific request. And then once you do that, you will click on NEMSIS Public at the top of the screen and a new screen will appear. Click on the View All Issues and Filters, and I'm going to show that to you. So here, and then here, right? And then over here in the corner, View All Issues and Filters, and then this is what it's going to look like. And then you'll notice in the top right corner, there's an export option, which provides additional versions. Do not go to the lower export button because all you're going to get is your Word and your PDF. So here's the export button that will give you more options to export to. And then you click on it, you save it. That's pretty much pretty typical of the way you do all of the rest of the documents that you're doing. There's your options. And if you go CSV, you can do comma delimited or anything like that. So please just let me know if you'd like it. I will get this posted. I'll get it. Well, I won't do it. Everyone knows I won't do it. But we'll get this posted onto the website next week. Are there any questions for exporting from JIRA? All right. So the next item that's on the list is the tips and tricks document, which is still in draft. It's almost done. When this document is done, it will be posted on the NEMSIS website as well. And I would like to give a big thank you to our vendors and our state data managers who have gotten on a couple of calls and talked about this document, talked about how to, what to include in it, what the content should look like, who can help at what stages, you know, what information is needed. This document really is for everyone to use. So there's going to be people who have not had a lot of interaction with EMS data, and there's going to be people who have had, you know, years of experience in EMS data that may use this document. And so it's going to be a living document. As more issues arise, we can add it to the document. We can update the document. It is going to change over time. Just to give you a quick preview, how it works is the data flow timeline or topic, right? So when is this occurring? At what stage did the issue maybe crop up? The possible solutions. So this does not necessarily mean this is going to resolve the issue, but this is where to start. This is what to look through. This is where to go. And who can help you at this stage is over here. You know, you might have to talk to your EMS provider agency or your software vendor or your state or NEMSIS TAC. I mean, there's different stages where different folks can help you resolve the issues. So you can see that there's a title for the item, right? Software fields. Did we verify, that all the mandatory elements are in the XML? Are you using the state EPCR or using your own version of the EPCR? Because there are some EMS provider agencies that don't use the state run form, right? So there could be changes in your PCR, that kind of thing. So there's a few items through here. I think most everyone has seen this at some point or another. I do know Lori presented it in a SEMSO as well a couple of weeks ago. Anne, you did ask if this is on the website are you talking about the tips and tricks document or, well, neither one is actually on yet. So neither the tips and tricks document or the JIRA exporting document are online currently, but they will be next week. So, and then we will send out a announcement to all of our EMS stakeholders where they're located with a copy of the document when those get posted. At the bottom of the tips and tricks are
Jen, can you share your screen again?
Oh, did it stop sharing? Yep, absolutely. Thank you for letting me know. Sorry about that.
Yes, thank you.
Can everyone see the tips and tricks document?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So at the bottom of the tips and tricks document, we're adding a section called good things to know, right? So these are just maybe not how the issue is going to be resolved, but items that a vendor has run into or items that a state data manager has run into that you just might want other folks to be aware of so they don't have to go through what you went through to get it resolved. What are the not values? What about state custom elements? Getting the most out of your state data set, out of your schematron. Best practices for when you're actually contacting a vendor and you're trying to get them to help you resolve an issue, right? So we've all gone through that where we've sent emails back and forth with our vendor or with our vendor's help desk and they're asking for more pieces of information. This gives you a list of all the different pieces of information to include when you open the ticket, if you know them, that will help you get it resolved faster. And that's vendor agnostic, right? This is any vendor. So if there are other items a vendor would like added to the list, let us know, send it in. Once this document is shared, Lori shared in the chat that we would love any feedback you would have that would be helpful to add to the resource. And keep in mind, this is a living, changeable document. If there's something that you find on here that is just glaringly out of date, let's say no one operates that way, let us know. We'll check in with everybody, we'll get everybody, and we can get things changed. We can put alternatives in here. This document is really to help folks out with the troubleshooting process and start to kind of focus on data quality a little bit. So this will be posted sometime next week. Any questions on the tips and tricks document? Just go ahead and raise your hand and then I think we can unmute you. All right, so hearing none and not seeing anything come into the chat, I will move on to the next item, which is located on, okay. Sorry, I had a lot of documents today, so I wanted to make sure that I had everything. Here we go. Okay. So the version 351 schedule.
It's not showing yet.
All right, let me put this document up and find out why. So can you see the Excel spreadsheet?
Yes.
All right, I wonder why that is not showing. Okay. Well, hang on 1 second. I can close it and open it again. Maybe that's. I probably closed it when I meant to close something else. Not that I would ever do anything like that. Okay, so we're talking about the versioning schedule. This is the other document that's going to be posted over to the When Will Changes Take Place page. It's going to be down here. right? So here is the timeline that you've all seen, the estimated timeline for standard version changes, right? Giving everyone an idea of what the years are going to look like over, the process is going to look like over the years. So specific to 351, this document will include what a major change could be, what a minor change could be. And that way you can pull this down and share it with your stakeholders. You can share it in meetings at your state or at your agency, letting them know, you know, this is kind of what's considered for version 351. Here is an estimated change decision timeline, right? So we already did survey 1. Survey 2 will be coming out shortly, and then there will be a survey 3. The cutoff for change requests is 7/1. So anything that comes in through end of day 6/30 would be included in survey 3, as long as it's a minor change. So if there's still ideas out there brewing around that you thought you couldn't get in, please do. You've got 2 days to get it in. All right. And then once we get all the results, we are going to share it at the annual meeting. There's going to be a couple hours to discuss anything that needs to be discussed at the annual meeting for version 351. And anyone who's been around a while knows that there's always going to be something to discuss. So Clay and I will present those at the annual meeting. We will look at them, review them. I am sure that there will be more questions that come up. There will be more discussion that comes up after the annual meeting. You've all been a part of this before, for the most part, all throughout the end of the year. And our goal is to know everything that's going to be included in version 351 by the end of the year. That is our goal. And I like to use the word estimated because I know some people like to hold you to anything that doesn't say estimated. So this is just our hopes of how this is going to work. And then Doug said, is there a document version of the survey that can be shared so we recall these items later? Yes, anything that we share, we'll make sure that we have the information about each of the questions and everything included. We'll make sure everybody gets that, Doug. Thanks for asking. And then here is just another copy included of the estimated development timeline that you saw on the previous page. And I would like to say thank you to those who were able to complete the survey. There were 58 respondents, and they gave me a breakdown of how many people responded by day. So you can see that there was a big push on that last day to get 22 folks in there. It took on average 2.8 hours. There were 40 questions in the survey. I actually got the results, and the way this broke down, I couldn't translate over in time. So I will have to get back to y'all on 12. But this is kind of how it broke down, just not the sub questions, but just the yes or no, right? So you can see that for the most part, people were in agreement with the changes that were along there, right? And this is just a very general breakdown that I got this morning. We'll get it in much more detail. It will be provided. Everyone will be kept in the loop on this. So were there any questions or anything anyone wanted to bring up on the version 351 schedule that we have? And for some reason, I can no longer see if anyone has their hand up.
There were no hands raised, Jen.
All right, perfect. And I believe I touched on all the agenda topics that had my name on them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I am actually going to talk a little bit more about the annual meeting. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who has registered, and even those who have not yet registered but plan to do so. If you are attending the annual meeting, please make sure you get your reservations at the resort completed as soon as possible. There are approximately 16 rooms remaining. And we will practically have the entire resort reserved for NEMSIS guests. I am going to show you the location where you can find all the information related to the NEMSIS meeting. It's the second bullet here, save the date. Go ahead and click on the picture and it will take you to the page. If you need an invitation letter, it's right here. The registration site is here. And the preliminary agenda is here. There are some things I wanted to mention quickly about the registration. So currently, I have been answering questions related to a PO. Several states need the purchase order so that they are able to submit it to their financial office and then have the payment situation resolved. If there is need to send a check, I have now added that option on the website or on the registration site. The information is on this first page of where you need to send the check payment. This is our financial analyst here at the TAC, and she and I will discuss any checks that are coming in. But when you log in to the in-person meeting registration, one of the first things you'll see on the bottom here are the pre-conferences. There are 3. There is one for the advisory board, for state managers, the State Data Managers Forum. This is for state officials only. And then the interoperability workshop for EMS software vendors. If you click on this option and complete this entire page, once you get to the checkout page, there will be an option for you to use a check. And then you will be prompted with the information to where to send the check. You will also receive an email confirmation with that information. And the email confirmation can be used as the PO. If you have any additional questions or concerns about anything related to payment, please feel free to send an email and we will get those issues resolved as soon as possible. I'm going to just go right back to the NEMSIS page here because I want to bring up some additional information about the annual meeting. If you look at the agenda, you will notice that each night, starting on Monday, because we are hoping that you will join us on Monday. Now, Monday is not shown here, but the pre-conference sessions will start on Tuesday morning early. So that's why we're hoping you will decide to travel on Monday. On Monday, there is a reception at 5 o'clock. And then on Tuesday, we also have a reception for those who are coming in on Tuesday evening. On Wednesday, we have an evening event at a Basin Recreation Center. We're going to play pickleball. Pickleball actually requires a waiver. I am in the process of working on the waiver and will add that information to this page. Also, on Thursday, we are going to attend the Utah Olympic Park, which is outdoor rides. This event also requires a participation waiver. I have added that waiver here where it says, please complete the Utah Olympic ride waiver by July 31st. This will actually help me with a better indication of how many tickets I need to purchase for those who are participating in this activity. If you have any questions about any of this, please let us know and we will definitely respond at our earliest convenience. I don't have any other topics I believe right now related to the annual meeting, but I am, I would like to entertain any questions that you have at this time. Are there any questions about the annual meeting? Any assistance that's needed at this time? Okay, thank you so very much. Let me go ahead and stop sharing that particular screen. And it looks like I don't believe we have Mr. Chaney on the call from NHTSA to address any specific NHTSA related items. So we can certainly give you back some of your time today. We appreciate the fact that you took out your time today to join us. There is one other thing I want to mention. I'm going to find that agenda. We are hosting a training on July 11th, Tuesday, July 11th. Josh Legler will be the presenter, and he will be discussing case definitions. So we would love for you to attend that training. Come ask all your questions about the case definitions. We look forward to seeing you at that time. If we don't see you until the training, please have a happy 4th of July holiday. And we definitely look forward to seeing you in Park City. I see there is an additional question that says, sorry, we got to get to that question again. The hotel says it charges one night as a guarantee and it isn't refund, as far as I can tell on the website. I have discussed this issue with the hotel and indicated that they should remove the one night's charge for the hotel. If they have charged your credit card for that first night, would you please send me an email directly and I will help resolve that issue with the hotel. Thank you for the question, Anne. I appreciate that. Says our travel takes so long to approve. I want to look at the hotel. Yes. If you need us to hold a room for you, you know for a fact that you're coming, please let me know. I will be happy to make sure that we have a room held for you. Just reach out to me and let me know how many rooms you need or how many days, the details of your stay. Are there any additional questions? Okay, thank you, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules. And we look forward to seeing you next time.